let's move on to special session. The topic of this session is what is the ability needed to survive in VUCA world? The graduates of JAIMS, 5 of them, will be conducting a panel discussion. This panel discussion will be in English, so if needed, please use the interpretation service. I would like to give the microphone to Hana, who is going to work as a moderator. Then Hana, please.
Hello and welcome everyone. Lovely to see so many faces. I'm just going to go through everyone's names initially and then they'll introduce themselves, explain where they are with their career now and what JAIMS program they were in and when. So we've got Chris, Vera, Yuka and Kiyo. And we'll start off with Vera, please.
My turn?
Yes, if you could start.
All right. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Vera from Indonesia. And let me begin with first my gratitude to JAIMS program. I was with EWKLP 2010, and I'm currently the CEO of Indonesia Asia. And for those who are not yet aware of Indonesia Asia and the airline industry, I'm very grateful today that for 80 years, Indonesia has never seen a woman leading an airline business in the country. And it's my expression of gratitude to JAIMS because JAIMS has been instrumental in my personal and leadership growth that I'm able to be the first female airline CEO in Indonesia and also only very few in Asia Pacific. Thank you so very much for the opportunity.
Well done, Vera. If we could now hear from Chris.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Chris. I'm from Thailand. I'm joined the GLIC program, Global Leader for Innovation and Knowledge, in spring 2019. So the program have studied in 4 countries, starting from Japan, Hawaii, Singapore, and Thailand. So right now, I'm managed my family-owned hotel in Thailand, and also start up my social enterprise project on community-based tourism and also the organic farming. Yeah.
And now Yuka.
Thank you, Anna. I'm Yuka Nakano. Actually, I graduated from ICMP 06, so it's quite long ago. And also, I graduated also from Fujitsu. So I'm so happy to come back to Fujitsu in this way. So actually, after I graduated from Fujitsu, I joined Nissan. And then I've been in branding, marketing, and then technical assistant for the vice CEO and the chief planning officer. And then I joined Amazon 2 years ago. So appreciate it. And then I'm so glad to be here. Thank you so much for having us.
Great, Yuka. And finally, Kiyo.
Okay. Aloha. I'm Kiyo, graduate of ICMP 2004. I have been working for the IT industry all my life, and after graduation, I have been setting up a Japanese branch of the US-based IT startup company. So this is my fourth, startup opportunity. The company name is Pendo. I'm a country manager and also the vice president. But my previous company was Box Japan, and I spent like over 7 years as a vice president. But also I'm a chairman of the Digital Adoption Association, and also I'm the executive board member, also the advisor of the 5 Japanese startup companies.
Great. Now, the theme for today's panel is what is the ability needed to survive in this VUCA world? And the background of this setting is obviously in the last few years, we've encountered rapidly changing environments, rapid decision-making. We've needed to respond quickly with things like communication skills and problem solving. And so many people are wondering what skills are required to be a business leader in this type of environment. Therefore, today we've brought these panelists together to talk through to all graduates of JAIMS and examine that really. So first of all, starting off with Vera, what is your business environment currently? And how has it changed in the last few years? I imagine it's changed quite a bit.
Yes, substantially changing. In the airline business, we were hardly hit by the COVID in the past 2.5 years. In 2019, our business was growing rapidly, double digit in Indonesia. And then right after that, COVID hit and we had to stop operations. We had to cut costs immensely. And it was really, really tough. Now the industry as well as our company are coming back, though not yet 100%. But it's really, we experienced the volatility at its height and also a lot of ambiguity that time. Last year, we didn't know that if COVID will end and when it will end and how it will end. And it's very tough running a business in that kind of environment. So that's what I can share.
Great. And so you mentioned that it is improved capacity. What sort of
Yeah.
level?
Today, our company as well as industry is only recovering by 70% because of all the challenges around aircraft capacity. And this is what is interesting of operating in current VUCA world, because right after COVID, we were thinking that, we should go back to normal because people would like to go back flying again. But now we're experiencing another shift of change where we had issues getting into resources. Supply chain has been, largely disrupted. We could not get our components in place in time. We can't get, because there's a huge shortage in metal, like titanium, platinum, and all the others. So, and then the inflation, the rising costs, the people. So it's really, crisis after crisis that we're seeing in our industry.
Wow. And now, Chris, you've had similar problems in terms of supply chain management.
I
Is
think
that right?
for hotel, we see the pandemic that happened, like the border closed, the government shut down, things like that. But I think for hotel industry, we can see a lot of change before even the pandemic. We call technology advancement. In the positive side, people, rather than just book from the hotel directly, you go direct to the platform like Agoda, Booking, something like that. So the hotel itself need to adjust a lot of strategy to maintain the loyalty customer. And then you need to be able to have more marketing power, because it's not only the hotel itself that compete with each other, but right now, according to Airbnb, even before the COVID, the person who have apartment, the person who have the house can, give the rental the room. So which means that the hotel, not only facing the hotel as a competitor, but still like the personal use, personal house as a competitor. And regarding to my community project, we can see that technology can create a negative impact because technology divide, people have very poor, cannot be access to the computer, internet. So that's why a gap between the rich and poor are wider. Yeah.
And what did you do? You mentioned that you didn't let any staff go during that COVID-19 period. Can you tell us a bit about what you did, what the staff did during
the
that
3
time?
years, our hotel practiced the agricultural theory by the late King Ramana of Thailand, and also we do the organic farming. So the property behind the hotel, 40 acres, we plant our own vegetable, own rice. During the COVID, we not lay off any staff, but we asked them to do agriculture with us. So I process the food, for example, like chili paste, the noodle kits, or even the fruit snack, just to be able to sell the product to the Bangkok people or overseas. Because if the hotel, we wait for the customer to coming in, there are no customers. So that's why we need to create a lot of job, create activity, just to boost up the morale of the people as well.
Great work. And now you mentioned tech being a negative. I'm going to turn now to Yuka, where tech is part of your job and is the disruptor. You are the disruptor. Can you tell me more about how COVID-19 looked for Amazon?
Thank you. Actually, I forgot to mention about what I'm doing at Amazon by the way for my self introduction. But I'm principal of Amazon Japan and the head of consumer intelligence. Actually, I developed newly the consumer intelligence division, and then I am executive leader at the marketing at Amazon. So yes, as all know, we cannot anticipate what the customer demand will be for the coming months, not a year, the months. And then tech is also help us to accelerate the speed, but at the same time, that way of thinking needs to be changed. Actually, I joined Amazon April in 2020. It is exactly the same when the Japanese government issued the first state of the emergency declared. And then we have a lot of limitation, but actually the industry basis that we have not linear, dramatically increased demand. Sorry for it's different from the airline or travel, but that it's year on year 20% growth. So if we do the business the way of what we've done till yesterday, we cannot tap into that new speed of the business. So what we need to do is also technology and also our human instinct. So we needed to make a decision with the 70% of the information what we need to do. So to proceed that the plan, we had an experimental with 70% of the information, also decision making, and test it quickly, and then learn from the what the metrics we moved, and then reflect to the next plan whether we should double down or we stop doing so. That's the technology part, as well as our human instinct. Also, maybe that Nonaka-san mentioned that empathy, strategic empathy, might help us to integrate our knowledge with technology. That's I can share.
And I imagine you could, with Amazon, it's quite good because you can see instant results. Is that right? Whatever you apply is almost, the feedback is instant.
Yeah.
How about you, Kyo, in the tech space? How is your environment
Yeah,
currently?
thank you so much. And my company is a US-based, very small IT company, right?
Yes.
And so we are a pre-IPO B2B small company, and have divides our sales target actually 3 times in the year. So because our Japanese clients have become more cost conscious than ever, I feel, and they are also considering a new business opportunity due to uncertain about the future. Actually. Yeah, actually, the reason why a customer are becoming more cost conscious is closely related to today's theme, VUCA, which is the future is uncertain, and they want to start small and be more agile, so they can quickly return on or consider other option rather than like spending a long time preparing for the big project, which is usually Japanese people like. Yeah.
Wow, okay. And so what sort of clients are you looking at that are sort of being more cost conscious, or is it the business itself?
Exactly. Yes.
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 Okay, great. Next, we will chat about the requirements that are needed for leaders in a VUCA world. And also, I would like each of the panelists to have a think about, I mean, we all did different programs through JAIMS at different stages and different places as well. But I guess a golden thread running through that stream was diversity of thought. And I've noticed that in your answers to me before that we've spoken about that. So if you could think about the requirements that you feel you need as a leader of your business, but also what did you take away from JAIMS? And we'll start with Vera, please.
All right. So I believe that the world is rapidly changing and it will continue to change, and the volatility will, grow from time to time. And more, I think leaders are expected to make quick decisions and able to lead their business to adapt. And for that, I think leaders are expected to be able to build and nurture and lead a diverse team. Gone are the days, I think, that, we hire people who are typical, engineers, hire engineers coming from certain backgrounds, certain countries, certain, technical capabilities, because we really need to have diverse pool of people, diverse pool of talents and perspective to work together. Now, the key is it's easier to get, diverse people to be in a team because you just recruit different people. What is essentially difficult is how this team will work together. How to lead this team, because talented, smart, and diverse team are not easy to be led because they have their own thinking, they have their own determination. And I think more and more leaders need to equip themselves with ability to build, nurture, and grow this diverse team. And what I learned from JAIMS, 12 years ago, JAIMS introduced to me, the world basically, because I was quite young that time, inexperienced, and very few times I went out of Indonesia. And JAIMS helped me to understand that the West has certain ways of thinking, the Eastern people have certain way of thinking, and there's nothing right or wrong about it. Sometimes we're, at that time I was thinking that it's the opposite, somebody has got to do it better. No, it was really about the different perspective, complementing each other and building innovation solutions that was unthinkable before. The challenge is how to build and drive diverse, talented teams. So I think that what I learned a lot from James program, and I'm very grateful of joining the EWKLP with diverse classmates that time in Hawaii as well as in Japan. So that is the experience that I had. Again, to the board and the leaders and also the former graduates of James, I'm really thankful for the opportunity and the lesson and the live experience that I'm able to participate and also enjoy.
Now, Chris, your experience was quite recent.
Yeah, I think I really gratitude for the James generosity to accept me to join the program. For me, the key takeaway during the COVID situation, I think the first one, like Professor Nonaka said, you should have the big meaningful purpose in life. Because when you're down, like the hotel industry or airline down for 3 years, as a leader, you need to boost up your morale, share the positive energy feeling to all the employee, just to bring up, because I think the purpose in life can move on the people more happy, have the purpose thing to continue the business. And I think I learned a lot from Professor Nonaka at that time as well. Second one, I think related to growth mindset. You need to be able to unlearn and relearn as well. And I need to thank to Professor Waigaya class that's here today. I take a lot of lessons from him to think of the innovative way of, the hotel being shut down, but we cannot let the people go, like staff go. That's why we need to think of continuous, like, oh, we have the kitchen, we have the F&B team. Why not we continue to process some food and drink and sell to other people? And we try to do some other business as well, like a catering business, like the mobile car truck that sell the food on the event menu. That I think at the growth mindset. And the last one, I really think that the new leader in a pandemic need to be adaptive learning, because the way that we study MBA program might not be able to practical, because like which vaccine is the best, we don't know. Whether close the border or open the border was the best, we don't know, right? We need to learn by the mistake, which that during the four country, I learned to be cultural sensitive, and I also learned to work in a multi-diverse group of people, because every subject we change the group mate. That's why it learned to be adaptive, listen to other people's generation, because I'm 40 years old and my classmates sometimes like 25, 26 years old. So different generation and have adaptive learning for me. Yeah.
Great. And now, Yuka, what do you think a business leader in today's world?
Thank you. Actually, I would like to echo what Bella and Chris said, but actually VUCA itself is a theory that used from the 1987, which is quite a long time ago. But still, that's it. Still, that concept, requirements and also speed is also valid, even like a 2022. So I have three things that I keep in my mind as a business leader. Is one is agile priority decision making with the clear trade-off and then contingency plan. So sometimes I see that from the team member, there's a long list of the priority list, but actually it's not the priority. So priority is not only set the critical first things to do, but at the same time, we need to decide what not to do. That's the critical point for living with the VUCA world. And to be honest, my personal opinion is Japanese is very not good at having deciding not to do, because we are trying to do best. We are trying to be like 120% by like a gut feeling, but that's not the way that we need to be survive in the like a timely manner, because that Amazon, we are managing the metrics by hourly basis. So we need a more agile and priority setting making decision. The second is review the decision, very timely manner, rather than like bleeding forever. So we need to review my decision, what I have with the priority and then trade off. And actually when have set the not to do, we really need to have a trade-off and then countermeasure and then risk what we need to take. And then if that plan goes well, that's okay, let's double down. But if plan does not well, then we need to go back to that decision we made with the trade-off and risk And then what if our assumptions, such as hitting the industry volume will not hit what we expected XYZ percentage, then should we stop the investment or should we stop the plan and then completely change the plan? That's the second thing that we need to really have an agile mechanism to have review the decision all the time. So making decision all the time. And then most importantly, the third time is what I heard from Vera and Chris is reflecting others' opinion and then listen to others with empathy to understand the other view of the way of thinking. Otherwise, we miss the decision making. That's what I learned from the James. Actually, as a Japanese, it's not diverse so well, one language, one regions or several. But when I joined James, there are so many diverse way of thinking from the background. So I always remind it how I can leverage their knowledge background, how I can learn from them. That's what I learned from the James.
Great. Now, Kyo, turning to you, what do you think a business leader requires in today's
Yeah,
world?
thank you very much. I say this theme is very difficult to explain in the Japanese. So let me read a little bit my note.
Okay,
But,
yeah, sure.
So what I value as a leader in the time of VUCA is to keep the message simple, easy to understand, like she said, same. And I also need to make a decision in response to change without fear of change. So to this end, I think it's important to make it a habit to listen to a wide range of people's opinion without being judgmental about anything. And in the James classes 2004, there are members from various backgrounds, and we sometimes clashed with each other, the class, and when we talked based on Japanese judgment. And also during the time I was in Hawaii, 25 years ago, the tourist number were dramatically decreasing actually. And many people who have been mainly in the tourism industry changed their business actually from tourism to some other one. And through my stay in Hawaii and James, I learned that there are people with different experience and sensitivities in the world, and that no business can predict the future. That I learned from James.
Great. Well, I'm definitely sensing a few overall themes here. This idea that everyone listens to diverse opinions, but then also able to make quick decisions on your feet and be able to look back at them and say, were they right? Were they not so right? And then amending actions going forward based on that. Is there anything else any of you would like to add? Yeah, is there anything else you'd just like to add based on the leader, the idea of the leader in a VUCA world?
I think for me, the skill set of digitalization is very important.
Yes.
We cannot deny for that, like access to computer technology, even the cloud platform. Even the community people need to be able to learn as well, because we need to sell the product, like not only the physical one, but sell it online. So the digitalization is very important.
So that sort of fluency in computers.
Yeah.
Sure.
And I think linked to that is also about the quick decision making linked to data-driven analysis.
Yes.
Because today, with the technology, with all the emerging applications, there are so much accumulated data. Previously, we had an issue with not having enough data. Now we have so many data. And for business leaders, it's very important to understand how to break through the clutter and see through all the complexity that we have and extract the meaningful insights. So I think linked to the technology is ability to go through the environment, which are very rich in data, and then translate that into meaningful insights to make quick decision making.
I think that plays to Professor Nonaka's points on analysis too. We can get, analysis paralysis when there's too much and you need to step back sometimes and have an overall view, right?
Building on that, if I may,
Of
so
course.
my team has two parts. That one is data analytics, one is research, consumer research. So data-driven, yes, Amazon is really data-driven company, and then we really need to stick to that scientific data. So we need even develop the scientific model to understand the propensity what behavior produce what incremental benefit. But the data also doesn't tell us why. So that part that we need to have a human empathy. So data is needed, but the plus that why part, why customer needs, why customer feel that way, why did customer didn't take that decision, that part that we human, not only technology, we need to add on into that data. Okay.
100% agree about the data because our company provide like data analytics about product, but the Japanese people often don't bring like a data on the meeting, right? Basically, and I had a chance to talk with the CEO, co-founder of the US, people. But if I don't bring any data to the meeting, actually CEO, cancel the meeting because he wants to make a decision without data, right? With data, so that's very different from the our culture and the US culture. The data is 100% important, I feel.
Great. And now just, we have a few spare minutes, so I thought if anyone can think of one particular aspect of JAIMS or one lesson or one activity that they really find a useful lesson out of, and would like to tell it to everyone. Yeah, Vera.
Yeah, I think one experience that I find really insightful was the cultural day that time at JAIMS 12 years ago. And as an Indonesian who's really, born, educated, and raised in Indonesia, that time I wasn't so exposed to a variety of cultural aspects. That time I found like people from the Western countries, they're talk very direct. And I found it, quite rude, right? And then, I didn't understand how to respond to that type of exposures. And on the other side, I learned also my Japanese classmates, they're very polite, quiet, and they never said no. So I was a bit confused whether they agreed to me, they want to go out together with me or not. So it was really a kind of cultural shock that I had. But, through the experience of JAIMS, especially with the, cultural events that we had, I began to realize that, and also grow respect of how other people think and behave in their own culture, where they came from. And I benefited a lot from the ability to articulate and, adapt my ways of talking, my ways of expressing, so that I can connect more effectively with people of different backgrounds. I think that is most meaningful experience for me when I was at JAIMS 12 years ago. Wow, it's 12 years ago. Felt like it was yesterday. I was like looking at the picture and said, yeah, that's JAIMS that I know 12 years ago. Thank you so very much.
Anyone else? Chris,
I think for me, I think the most fun was the concept creation with professor. Prior to join JAIMS, I worked for Apple. So everything that I did was right and perfect, right? Until in this class, we start class from 9 a.m. until 9 p.m. And then professor said, not good, not good, not good. So I feel very like inferior at that time. And because every idea that proposed, he said, not good. And he very loud person, like, no, not good. It's like pressure, but I think when I thinking back, it helped me a lot during the COVID situation because I can be like, vocal to my staff, like, hey, not good, think more, and think more, that I can use his style to manage my staff as well.
Yes, it is good. I remember it myself. It was a bit of a headache that day, wasn't it? By the end of the day, but we all came up with some really cool creations. So that kind of breaking through what you think is your pass point and pushing through to innovate is really something. And it's quite cool that, yes, a big portion of GLIC is now about innovation. But playing to Vera's point about this idea of global thinking and cultures, I had the same experience where initially it was hard to figure out communication with the various cultures. But by the end of the trip, you have friends for life. Yeah, so it's marvelous. And I'm also extremely grateful. Now, time is starting to run out. Thank you all for your contribution. We just want to have a little chat. We've obviously got many graduates, not only gathered here, but online as well. This really is a room with a lot of gemstones in it. And, how can we best utilize it? How can we pull together the knowledge of GLIC and you can share connections and that sort of thing? I was just wondering, have you got any proposals? We'll start with Vera for connecting an alumni network? Yeah. Vera or Yuka? Either or. Vera, you go. Yes, if you go first,
Okay,
yeah.
I think a recommendation, I read from the statistics that there are more than 3,300 James alumni. That's a lot. That's a lot of tacit knowledge. That's a lot of, resources also from different part of the world. And I think what will be a proposal that we can make is to have a group chat platform where we can understand who graduated and who took programs, who took which programs, and understand probably what kind of learnings that we can get out of that person. So having technology, there's so many applications today for this platforms. If we can connect and see, and then after that we build with programs, discussions of certain interesting topics. It could be about businesses, it could be about the economy, it could be about a specific hobby that one person has, or a capability or skill set that one person has developed uniquely that others would like to understand. I think that is a meaningful connection and resource. There's a lot of resources in there that we can all take advantage of and also, as well as build on.
Great. Chris, have you got any suggestions?
I like during the COVID situation, I think James' team also initiate like in social innovation workshop. I think that's very good that we can pick up some social cause that we want to like pursue, like poverty or the mental health, things like that. And all the alumni are very good in that field. Because for me, I would think that in order to solve any social issue, it's not only like one technical dimension or skill set. We need a holistic or like really like mutual perspective to that. So if the James alumni that be good at that or interested in that, we can share some idea and thinking of some practical action to that. So CSR project, things like that.
That sort of thing. Great. And Yuka, have you got any suggestions you'd like to add?
Yeah, thank you. As you, Hannah, said that the network and then friendship is another asset that we've acquired from James. I think that my classmate is there. And then actually we had the reunion that hosted by someone in Bali. So 25 classmates got together from 14 countries.
Wow.
This is also a great opportunity for, of course, COVID situation, but not only, of course, I'm so interested in the business network. We might create a new business or a new company, but at the same time, this friendship, even across the program, might be great friendship for lifetime. So we can talk about how I drive of that James from, or like a convenience store that next door of Aloha Costco. Yeah, that's fabulous moment that even like being business leader, we have any more emotional connection among us. That's what I would like to seeking for.
Great. And Kia, have you got anything else to add to those great ideas?
Nothing to add, but almost same as us. But 50s history, 50 years history is great, and over 3,000 alumni is a huge asset, right?
Yes.
And I think even I like to know that who is doing what, right? So if people want to connect the other alumni, but if we have like these kind of information, we can encourage them to connect more. So I think it's great to use like Facebook or other SNS, but also we like to, if you can use like a kind of database from alumni, I think it's great to connect each other.
Great. Well, I think I can speak on behalf of a lot of people in this room, including all of us, that just how grateful and appreciative we are of the program and how life-changing it was in various ways, and how incredible it is to sit here tonight and see how it has changed in 50 years and become the program that it is today. So I would like to thank everyone involved and all those Fujitsu-JAIMS staff that have arranged today as well. Professor Nonaka, obviously, and everyone involved with the education aspect of the program. It has been incredible. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone. And moderator Hannah and all the panel members, please give them a warm round of claps. I think we are proceeding faster than scheduled, but nonetheless, we would like to move on to the closing remarks. So Fujitsu Director, SVP, Global Customer Success Business, Head of Financial Service, Insurance and Business Unit, Mr. Hiroaki Nishida, who is the graduate of James, is going to give a closing address, but is he there? Because we are ahead of our schedule. Are we sure that Mr. Nishida is there? Okay, so it seems that he is there. And so Mr. Nishida is going to give the closing remarks via the Zoom. Can you hear me? Yes, we hear you. Hello? I belong to Global Customer Success Business, Head of Financial Service and Insurance Business Unit. My name is Hiroaki Nishida. I was scheduled to go to Kawasaki Tower, but because of business matters, I would like to excuse myself through the online participation. First of all, congratulations for the 50th anniversary of James. I am 50 years old, and so I am the peer of James, and I am very proud of that fact. In 2006, in the fall program, I participated in James ICP program. In the panel discussion, we have Yuka Nakano, and we are the same class. And I thought, wow, she speaks very English fluently as before. And as mentioned in the panel discussion, back then there were 27 members participating. And in James, Hawaii, we took different lessons. I myself was not very fluent in English back then. So at the very beginning, I had some language barrier and I was in a way depressed. But I found out that it was not the language barrier. And as been mentioned by others, there are cultural differences, and I had to understand the differences in culture and nurture the attitude of respect toward others. And once I attained that disposition, of course, we continue having different opinions, but with respect being the foundation of our relationship, we were able to strike a trustworthy relationship. And I was able to learn the importance of diversity at James. And so I think that was a tipping point in my life. If I had not studied at James, I think I myself would have been a different person. So it was such a remarkable experience in my mid-career. And I am challenging different matters, and I believe that that spirit has been nurtured at James. We are celebrating the 50th anniversary today, and I reflect on my experience 10 years ago, and I was able to learn again today. Thank you very much. And at the outset, I was able to see the video of Korean James, and I really felt home. And from 49 countries, 3,383 graduates are there, and I understand that this is a great asset. And Professor Nonaka gave the keynote speech. And in GKI program, I learned from Professor Nonaka during that course, and today it was a new learning point as well. Fujitsu is a data-driven company, and we make decisions based on data. However, your sensitivity and your innate intuition is important. And these two are the fore and the back wheels of a vehicle. And from Jane's point of view, there are 3,383 graduates, and through empathy, through intersubjectivity, we are heading toward the common good. And we are trying to conduct the intellectual combat to create a new value by respecting intersubjectivity. And I would like to refresh my commitment to create new value. Now, talking about 50 years going forward, we celebrated 50th anniversary today, and we will be heading toward the 100th anniversary. And we need to nurture diverse global leaders, and James is the forerunner in this front. And we live in the day and age of global leaders. And James is a superb platform that is contributing a value to the society, and I think that will be further enhanced going forward. Having said that, networking of the current graduates and enhancing and increasing more graduates is important. And by connecting, we will be able to create more values. And that is the very endeavor that we have to work at. As mentioned in the panel discussion, I believe that there are very good information and comments given, and I thought that might be great if we can have a James version of LinkedIn, and I hope that we will be able to come up with some mechanism to further network with the graduates. And that was a very valid remark. And I myself would like to contribute one way or the other in the further advancement of James. Unfortunately, I was not able to be at the site today, but through alumni activities, I hope to be connected with you going forward. Thank you very much.